Good morning, Warzone kids. That's Warzone kids, just my term for people like myself and my pal Chad here, whose childhoods were more like a hostile war zone against our head and less like a supportive hothouse nursery where you can go grow you a orchid and let it bloom and get everything it needs. And I got this deal where I think about like our who we are, our soul, whatever that means to you, is like a Jenga tower, like that game where you start with a block of wood and then you take the pieces out, put them on top. And you got to abuse, neglect, whatever that was. Uh, Maybe you're a child sex abuse survivor, like this guy, physical abuse, societal abuse. Maybe you just grew up in a demented world, like my pal Chad and me. Whatever. Maybe it's an actual war zone, things blowing up. I don't know, gender, racial, whatever it was. You get to be an adult. At least speaking for myself, my Jenga tower was like this tall thing, like made out of bamboo, shaking in the wind, and you had to spend all my life like just trying to keep it from falling down. And that wasn't no way to live for me. And the thing falls down enough times, and you get around to thinking like maybe I'll try to put this thing back together in a more orderly kind of fashion. This is my pal Chad. We've It's a little Gen X reunion here. We're going to talk about the old days and church and Jesus people and Jamila and Leanne Banks and assorted uh, assorted Gen X related stuff like that. We met when I was in the fifth grade. Is
Yeah,
that right?
I think it was before that, honestly. I think it's more 84 would be my
Yeah,
guess. So probably that third to fourth grade. I'm trying so that's when pretty sure that's when we started going to the church. And I think
yeah,
you were about the same time because your neighborhood was over there. I don't even know. I guess we lived over there for a minute. I mean, we lived all over the place, of course, mainly more area, but yeah, we lived over there by it. I think that's how we ended up there because it started out at, Crossroads Cathedral, the mega church of Oklahoma City at that time.
yeah.
And then I don't know,
Dan
I guess
Schaefer.
Dan Schaefer. I guess that was too much because, we had to go to something. Maybe it was too big. So it was
Yeah,
probably not intense enough for these people. So
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's how we ended up where we ended up. And you were there about the same time. So you're talking me and you, and the
yeah.
rest of the kids that were there that we were all together for up until high school. That was pretty much basically until mom said, you don't have to go if you don't want to anymore. That's what I'm out
Yeah,
when I got my
yeah.
freedom. That would have been ninth to 10th grade at that point when that was it. And you about the same, where
Yeah. I
surprisingly
got a car and a
enough, for
license.
you were able to do the same from your parents, which I mean, I guess at that point, because they're like getting out retired and everything, so I think they just gave up the fight really at that point because
Yeah.
you weren't stopping us. We had jobs and we had cars and that was it, and we had our own lives. But yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. It's about 80, 83, 84. I would
Yeah,
think.
we got there. Faith Christian Fellowship Church. Yeah, 40th and Pennsylvania
Yeah,
Avenue,
right.
South side, South
It
side,
was.
Oklahoma City.
Yep, it was.
We got there the same way. Like my folks, we have been going to Eastern Avenue Baptist Church, which is like out near Midwest City. And then my folks started going like different storefront churches,
Right.
like little rinky dink deal.
And I'm
And
sure we were the same, and I just don't remember those. It just there's a moment between Crossroads, then all of a sudden we were there. But I'm sure it was the same where they were looking for a happy medium, I guess, in their eyes. But I'm really surprised that you went from Baptist to full gospel because that's a completely different realm. Because my dad was Baptist, and if we were with him on a weekend, sometimes we'd have to go to his church, and it was just like dead people in pews. And then
yeah,
every once in a while, it's just an amen, came out of the back somewhere, but it was
yeah,
just dry, nothing. There was no
yeah,
bands or any of that hoopla. So I think going to the more, I call it extreme because that's what it really was. So sitting
yeah,
there, here's your Bible, all right, let's go have pizza, then boom, move on with your life in the day, where it
yeah,
was full blown. This is in your life. This is it. We got the bands, we got the flags, and all the hoopla and everything dancing around and all that. So to us, obviously, it was probably a really big shock. when we first saw it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because it was instant down your face, doom and gloom. But let's be so happy about it. We're parading around the auditorium doing
yeah.
cartwheels over this doom and gloom, which was the whole. That was it from then on. That's how it was, right?
It was intense, man. They were
Very intense.
it pisses me off somehow now to hear like, I feel like if anyone's going to criticize that world, shut up, let me do it, let you do it. If you weren't in that world,
Right.
like keep your
You
yap
weren't
shut.
in
You
it.
don't
No,
know.
yeah, I agree. If you weren't there, you don't know.
Because
And
they
there's a
weren't, it
lot.
wasn't just some bullshit. It was not just like that. What's that show on HBO? Like there's some show about like a televangelist,
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's a
eastbound and
great show.
down
It's a
dude is
great
in it.
show. I love it.
Yeah. It wasn't just that. It
Yeah,
was that.
it
Dan
was good.
Schaefer and that bullshit. But they were
Yeah,
like carnival barkers
yeah.
selling counterfeit shit. And those little storefront churches, that was the real shit. You can't tell me that wasn't real shit. That was the deep dark shit because they're all fucked up people, traumatized
Right,
into their life.
right.
At least my
It was a different dedication, and it's what's weird about those mega churches, and not that ours were in the same way, but it was just like, thousands of people there for one, but it was a class war. So there were
yeah,
so many people in all your classes and where you sit and where you fit, you did your thing and then you moved on.
bullshit.
When it went
Yeah,
smaller, there was still the class war, rich to poor, but it was a smaller group and there was more fanatical on that side. Does that make sense? Because that's
yeah,
what it
yeah,
felt
yeah,
like for me. So it went
yeah,
to this like happy go lucky, let's go eat pizza, to doom and gloom, fanatical, smaller group. And there was everything was under a magnifying glass to me, except for the preacher and his family. So what a different outlook, because we know growing up with them, I won't say their names, but
yeah.
growing up with them, they didn't live the life that we lived. They didn't
No,
live a doom and gloom nonstop down your throat. Even though it was preached as that, their life
yeah.
wasn't like that, man. It wasn't. I might be
Man.
crazy, maybe we're wrong, but we've discussed this before, and there's more than one of us that sees it that way. So if there's more than one, there's some where there's smoke, there's fire. There's some truth in it. Which sucks is they were around my life a lot as well, and it's just how different our homes were on the inside to what they
Yeah.
were.
We
And
we
even
lived in
some of the other uppers, that, like I said, there's class war at every
yeah,
church as well. And those
yeah,
people, they weren't the majority. Like how we were being raised was the majority. And those
yeah,
people, could they not see it or something? Did they not go home and it just didn't know that our lives were completely in upheaval and confusion and barking orders and forced into these idealisms that were
yeah.
we we've said this before. We knew at a very young age something's not right with this. Didn't
It's
make
not right.
sense. It's not adding up. The fear
Yeah.
mongering, like we're losing a lot of our childhood. If it wasn't for a friend group, holy shit, I can't imagine if you were like a loner kid going through that. And then
Yeah. If
even
I had
like
that,
if
you
you were a
guys.
loner kid at school, like if that was your life nonstop, I mean, that's how you end up going postal, I would think, in my opinion. If you survive that, good
Yeah.
for you. And the people that did come out of that, they are probably not much different than we are on their outlook of it. Like when I pass by a church,
No.
I cringe because I'm just like, because that's
Yeah.
the market put on me, and that's sad because I'm not religious. I don't like it. I think it's an evil thing. But there's a lot of people that I know and that are religious and all that, and that's fine if that's what they want to do. That's cool. But when it was shoved down our throats like it was for so many
Yeah.
years, just don't talk to me about it because I don't want to hear it. You do
I
you.
heard
I'm
it.
going to do me. You know what I mean?
I remember. Yeah, I remember like we were actually like working, you guys lived in apartments, I think most of the time. I was in, we had a modest house. It was what like legit working class. The houses were small and
Oh,
modest, but
yeah.
you mowed the yard, the house was neat and clean, just the
Right.
salaries were smaller, the houses were smaller. We didn't,
Right.
you know,
Not one
but
good snack in the whole damn place.
rice cakes.
Not one.
No, but
Nothing with sugar in it.
the preacher who I liked, we know him. We spent how much time around him. I liked him. He was a good preacher.
Yeah.
I liked his kids. They're great. we lived in that little house. I couldn't listen to the radio. I couldn't watch anything but the fucking Cosby Show, which fuck him, and Family
Right.
Ties. I had to listen to that bullshit, hideous music that is native music. You know,
Ooh,
KJIL. You remember that shit? Oh,
man,
and
any of that,
meanwhile,
even one note that I can hear anywhere in public or anywhere, and I know exactly what it is. It's the recording, it's the notes. My mother still listened to that up to the end. I mean,
mine
that's
too.
great.
Right
That's what
now,
she want to do. But man, I would be if we were in the car somewhere, I'd be like, listen, we got to turn this off because that's great. You like it, but let's put on, you know what I mean? I know that she listened to music before all that happened. So
yeah,
let's
put
you
that
put on
on.
some oldies or something, right? Because I can't do this. I can't
Yeah,
listen to it. It's ingrained into my soul
I
at
hear
this
that
point.
music and it's like the music that the torturer would put on like as he's getting warmed up to come in and work you over. That's exactly
Right,
how I feel. Like, oh fuck. But the preacher, we had all this shit. You go to the preacher's house, he's in this nice ass subdivision
right.
in a nice house. Nice.
Yeah,
A couple of orders of magnitude better than anything we lit. And he's watching fucking HBO.
right,
And I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch Golden Girls. And
right.
he's
Which
over there
is
watching
weird
HBO.
because, and like it's weird to think our house was somewhat of a refuge because for some reason, all that doom and gloom, all that force fed stuff. Oh my God, you watch whatever you want. We went to watch every damn movie in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's hot out. All right, between 11 and 3, it's 100 degrees. Here's a buck 50. You can go see every TNA flick that you want at
Yeah.
the theaters. No questions asked. 'Cause, I mean, we were out, because we were outside kids at that point, which a lot of Gen
Yeah.
Xers were, but it's the inside that was the fucking problem. But even then, it was this like, well, rent this movie, we'll watch this movie and this movie, but then, oh, you better get that Bible out because we're about to shove it down your throat at the table for 4 hours, right?
Yeah.
You know how
Yeah. It was
confusing
like
that was as a child to have
inside.
to understand, try to understand it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make
It,
any sense, man.
inside was like you're living in North Korea. You're
Right?
living in absolutely
No
nothing.
lights on.
No, zero, nothing. And
Right?
I know this is one of the things that fucked me up the most. If my folks had just been like shitty and mean, that would have been one thing. I could have hit the road, whatever it took, but I
Right?
knew that they meant well. I
Wow.
knew
Yeah.
that they wanted to like
Well,
protect me and stuff.
there was one in our household that meant well.
Your mother meant well.
Right?
Now, let's get on. So we met about fourth, fifth, whatever, when third grade, fourth
Yeah.
grade,
Yeah.
and then we went to school together for a while, and then we just glommed onto each other, you and Chris and me, and spent a lot of all available time because I was the only child. Um, and like you say, well, there's no escape, man. Anytime you guys were around, at least I knew that they were going to be acting different. If you guys were over at my
Right.
house, I was going to get something different. Your old
Right.
man, not your old man. I'm sorry, God forbid, holy Christ, Ed. You want me to
Right.
say his name, or I'll cut this out if you want to say his name. You'd burn it
Oh
up.
yeah. No, you
Um,
can say his name.
that guy was a mega prick. Let me. So one of the things that kind of interesting. I talked to the audience here for a minute. Like this word came to my mind. I don't care give too much about like m mental health terms and stuff like that because I kind of feel like for myself, it's all just like life. It's life. You deal
Yeah.
with it. But
Right.
I mean, not to minimize it or say you don't have to unfuck yourself depending on your situation, healing, all that. And I use words like that, and I kind of cringe using it with you because I think, well, Chad thinks I'm fucking mega. But
No,
uh,
it's true. It's really that those are true. It is healing. It's
it,
true.
I learned this phrase complex PTSD. I came across it a while back, and I'm like, okay, we grew up, at least, in Vietnam was all over the place, and there's a whole thing like, veterans and all that. But they got this thing like they come up with it complex PTSD, and I thought, oh, that's a Gen X childhood right there. It means like you can't isolate one thing. It's not like one thing that happened, it's like the whole thing.
Yeah.
Constant low grade everything, abuse, neglect, all the
Right.
time. So that becomes like that's just your world. You know what I mean? And I learned that like psychologists call this like a strong environment. When it's like growing up in a desert or something like that. Like you're gonna have to deal with it. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to deal with it. Uh, and so I just want to bring that up then and then think about Ed and like what life was like at the time. Because talk a little bit about Ed. What was that? What was that monstrosity
Ed?
prick like? Yeah.
Oh, it was living with a a demon, like a bipolar demon, because man, his front outside that house was not what it was in that house. And you were around him enough that, I
Yeah.
mean, there was something wrong with the guy. And what's weird is that, my mom was so great. And she was beautiful and she worked hard. And then how the fuck do you end up with somebody? How do you not know within 5 seconds of meeting somebody, this dude's a piece of shit? How do you not understand that? You know what I mean? I think
Mhm.
the survival mode at that point when they met, obviously that's when she started going to church and had nothing, and we were probably barely surviving. I mean, she was working for the state, so back then that was like minimum wage. You know what I mean? What I remember first time we met Ed, and my brother, we have same memories, but there's different ones too, which is really strange. What how he saw, and hell, how much we've just blocked the hell out as well. But I mean, as you know, this dude was an abusive person and he liked to hit kids,
Mhm.
especially me. Chris, not so
Mhm.
much. There was something about me that would he did his took his anger out on me a lot. But now that I'm older, as we got older, I'm like, there ain't no way he hadn't laid hands on my mother as well. It's not possible to have that much rage come out of nowhere. I lost a
Yeah.
house key once and got beat for it. A fucking house key. Who
Yeah.
gives a shit? A child. I was in grade school. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? But that's one of many, many, many times. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so, I mean, how else was I supposed to turn out? How else was I going to go getting raised like that? And then on top of I mean, how many times do you think we read the Bible? I would say the full thing, the
Yeah.
full thing,
Yeah.
front to back. I would say easily up to 20 times because
Yeah.
that whole time I was like third grade when they got married. And then, I mean, it was out the gate. It was instantly everything, the music that my mom listened to, anything secular to that world, no
Yeah.
more Halloweens. It's weird we could have Christmas, but Halloween's out.
No.
Like any costumes, any kind of music like that. But when we were on our own, we had MTV. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Or whatever music we wanted to listen to. But if that figure was around, I mean, our house was dark. It was a
Yeah.
dark place
Yeah.
from the food. And he was a piece of shit. Never held a job. I mean, how many checks did he bounce in my life around this city? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
mother's credit was so destroyed after she left him. It took her years to get back out of it. And thank God it was back then where it was easier to get out of things. You imagine now in today's world having all that
No,
debt
you
and
go
all that
jail.
bullshit. Yeah, bouncing checks all over the city. You're done. You're
Yeah.
done. We're probably out. But as far as him, I consider him he's a demon, man. And I can tell you that he's lucky he died before me and my brother found him. We got old enough. Don't think we were out. I mean, people might think this is like holy shit, insane, but I mean, I believe what were we taught all the time? Turn the other cheek and all that shit.
Yeah. That was for us. We
When
turned
it
the other cheek.
comes to abuse, he's lucky that we didn't get a hold of him first because he deserved some punishment of his own. I'm not talking about killing him, but he deserved a
Yeah.
little payback for what he did to us.
Well,
And he stole my childhood and turned it into a survival
yeah.
war zone. And we talked about this before. I love that term war zone kids because that's what it was. And I imagine there's a lot more that were like us, especially in the Bible Belt areas,
Yeah.
man. Not so much coastlines, big cities. That's different people, And you moved east, I moved west. And, what we met and learned. And when you talk to people, their child, how it was is so much different than this Bible Belt, Bible feed area that what we weren't even connected to the planet. It didn't feel like
No.
in any way
No. No.
at
It was all
all.
different.
It
I've
was
never felt
Oklahoma,
connected to anything since.
and people's thoughts about Oklahoma now are like, what's there? Just horses and cowboys? Because there was nothing that came out of any of it at all
Yeah.
that people knew about. If you drove through here, I mean, shit, now everybody waters their lawns. It was all summer brown, the whole state brown. I think Nichols Hills
Yeah.
maybe and some golf courses were green. The rest, brown
Yeah.
because everything
Nichols
just
Hill.
burned up. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Which is weird, but Yeah,
I mean,
he was a very bad person, man. And the force feed, getting beat for not doing your Bible studies. I mean, it was bad, dude. It was
do you
bad.
remember? Well, go back a minute. I think about this a lot. Like your mother at the time, I mean, I love your mom. I mean, I used to I used to pray to whatever extent I ever prayed for nothing. I used to pray my folk, I used to pray that I could have your mom.
Yeah,
Um, uh, uh, it seemed like she's a single mother in the early like 80s.
yeah.
She had to shack up with somebody. I mean, I'll say shack up. She had to get with
Right.
somebody. She
I
had
know,
to.
but you would
And it,
think of your choices that
yeah,
this, I mean, from his cheap suits at church to his plastic shoes to having nothing. Well, you know what? Like in my that shit told me my dating careers, man. I learned a lot of shit on first dates, and I didn't pull, not holding anything back because I want to dig into who the hell you are because this ain't happening.
right,
You
right.
know what I mean? And it can
Yeah,
honestly, it unless you're just so blinded by other things, it's not hard to read a human and see what they're all about. And it's that fucking mustache is the first giveaway. You know what I mean?
by the
He was
time
the
you're her
typical
age,
said that. I'll say this about
yeah.
him. Like when I watched what's that Billy Bob Thornton movie with Dwight Yoakam as the stepdad in it,
Sling
Sling
Blade.
Blade.
Yeah,
When I went to the theater to see it, and I'm not shitting you, when I walked out of there, there was a really close comparison of how that dude acted in that movie to some of the shit that we were around. And I'm not kidding you. I walked out of that thing. I mean, my BP was up.
yeah,
Just even a
yeah,
portrayal of somebody like that. If I'm out in public and there's somebody, you can just tell, man. And if I see like somebody that's getting, weird with a child, I'm not talking about discipline. I'm talking about there's a point where
yeah,
you can see that it goes past that. I
yeah,
mean, I'm instantly like, oh, if something happens, it's on because
yeah,
this piece of shit should not exist around other humans and children. And
yeah,
that's
yeah.
really what it was like for
Eh,
years. I tried to run away twice and they ended up finding me. You know what I
Did you?
mean? I did.
I don't know if I remember that.
I did. Oh yeah, they caught up real quick because
Yeah,
I mean, I remember one time it was winter and I ran out of the house in just shorts and a t-shirt. We were about to go to bed and was just picking up a payphone at a grocery store, call my dad, and they pulled up and grabbed me so fast. They didn't want any of that. Even my grandparents, man, they sniffed him out because we started showing up at their house once and I had bruises all down my legs. Not just pick your own switch for a minute because
right.
broke something in the yard. Like it's different. Belt bruises are different. And that was it. My grandfather pulled a gun on him, and that was the last time that they were at that house. Like they tore that
Really.
apart. Yeah, we didn't see him for a long time after that.
This was your grandfather lived out in Edmond?
No, this is my dad's parents.
Yeah.
So Edmund is my mom's parents.
Yeah. Mm, I'll tell you, man, it's a whole thing. That shit was going on with you, like getting running away and like getting beat like that. And I didn't know that.
Right.
That to that extent. I mean, I know you're getting beat, like beat.
Right.
What's that?
But you didn't know
I know
how
you're
bad
getting
it,
whooping,
how much it was.
but you don't. I there's nobody I spent more time with than you.
Right.
Nobody in the planet.
Well, and your story as well. I didn't know some of the other side either.
Yeah, I
And we
didn't
were
either.
together a lot. And as kids, we talked about a lot. That Gen X generation, man, we all understand that we were outside kids. We were friend group kids. And we talked about very heavy stuff from young ages up because we were our family. This is what we had. This is our only coping mechanism. But also, it was anything we could still try to hold on as children, being able to laugh and be enjoying ourselves. We masked a lot of our stuff because we had to. I mean, it was the 80s,
Yeah,
dude. That shit, dude, you just didn't talk about it. You,
no,
you could
and I
still
feel
get left in a car outside. I ate many a meals or sat in a car many meals
yeah,
watching them eat, knowing when I got home it was on for me.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Who does that
yeah.
to a fucking child over like nothing? Over shit that's nothing, you know?
Because the thing I feel like now when I look back, I feel like one. part, like the things that are the most damaging, like the things that are hurting you the most over the long term that are going to stick with you for till now.
Right.
You don't know. You don't know that that's what it is. Like you don't know that it's not you can't even think about it at the time. You just have to live in it,
Yeah.
somehow. I don't So we're around there all the time and we're the isolation of it. The aloneness and isolation that you got this stuff that's going on. I mean, and you can't even talk about it with yourself. Like you can't even acknowledge it to yourself,
No,
you
because
know.
if you do, it's wrong. And that's
Yeah.
why you have this Bible that you're going to study every day. Grade school, and they're making us be Bible scholars. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we don't. Well, first of all, most goddamn boring book I've ever read in my life. All right, Lord of the Rings, amazing, cool book, great story. What is this? What? Nothing makes sense. Nothing adds up. The timelines don't add up. Nothing about it adds up to me, and it never did. If people are into it, that's great. That's on. You can do whatever you like. But
Yeah.
from my standpoint, and how we were young and we are like, okay, something's not adding up with any of this because we're not feeling any love out of this. Nothing but the rod. It's the rod.
No,
It's
yeah.
the
Heavy
rod.
on the rod. Heavy on
Right.
the rod. And what was that phrase? Under the unsomething love of God, the mm, unconditional.
Yeah.
Unconditional love. Right.
Unconditional love. This is unconditional
Unconditional?
love. You know what unconditional love is? When I would go to the preacher's house, to hang out with his kids, my friends too,
Yeah.
and seeing unconditional love, completely opposite of what was happening in our world, completely night and day.
Yeah, like how about some casual kindness? What
Right.
how about I
How
mean,
about let your kid be a kid?
yeah, yeah. I felt like they would get so they would I feel like these people like the born again thing is like it's not like you're Catholic, you grow up Catholic, you're always Catholic, you go to mass, you could be super Catholic, no Catholic, you could not give a shit about it and still be
Right.
Catholic.
Right.
It's not a thing with born again people that go
No.
to church because they were adults and they came to it somehow or another. You
Right.
know what I mean? And so they had this experience. They had this God experience, which I rock on. Well, I didn't. But then they would tell you, and I always had some weird like philosophical, like they would explain stuff and it wouldn't make sense to me. They start even though Noah's Ark, right? Like you're like, well, I don't
Yeah.
know, man. I mean, how many moose were on there? Like whatever, stuff like that. Like how they get the brontosaurus on there, like all that. And
Right.
you
Oh
would
well,
always
no,
like,
no, no,
what?
no, no, no. Let's be real about the dinosaurs because you remember they didn't exist. That
Yeah,
was
it's all a
part of the
trick.
fishing thing for a long time. They didn't exist.
Yeah.
Well, it's the '80s, man. We're watching shows about fossils and stuff, so they existed. We were learning
I
about that
wasn't.
in school. Well, you weren't allowed
Just
to.
turn that channel off. Nah. You
I,
know.
I
Ah.
will say, but it's weird, and you're not to deviate too much, but you're right. Is that at least when somebody was at our house, when you came over, it was a little bit different. It was
Yeah.
lighter. When we were at
Yeah.
your house, the mood
Yeah.
was lighter. There
Ed
was still
wasn't going
no
to freak out.
TV.
Ed
Well,
wasn't going to show
they weren't
nobody
going to
what he saw.
show their face in public.
No.
Well, in public, they would, but around strangers, but nowhere near their little church friend group.
It
Wasn't happening, and you can't tell me your parents didn't see it either.
Well, I found out later, like as an adult, that my dad, that my old man had Ed clocked. He didn't think much of Ed at all. And my dad's a real
Nobody did.
no. I mean, he's got some real strict standards with regard to what he regards as manliness.
Right?
Like how a man should behave, whatnot. And Ed did not check any of those boxes. He thought,
No.
he thought he was a joke, a clown. Chitin checks. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
back, I had to explain to my kids what that means. Like back in the day, here's how it went. You had to write down on a piece of paper, I got $20 in the bank, and then
Yep.
give it to them. And if you went to Brahms, they would let you buy food with a check, and they wouldn't cash that fucker for 2 or 3 days. And
Yep.
so you had a way to rustle up some tin cans or whatever it took. Your old
Well,
man
I
had
mean,
$20 in the bank, or cut
right,
town.
right. And my mother was doing the same to survive. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know why she stayed so long. She could have left any damn time and would have been way better off than sticking it out that many years was really, and it was hard. And when the first time they split, I think it's going into eighth grade. Were we at Star in eighth grade?
Yeah. Yeah.
Were we?
Yeah.
Were we at Star in eighth grade?
I think so. Maybe you might have
Yes,
already
yes,
started going to
yes, I
Western.
was,
Yeah.
because ninth grade is when that was it. Everything was finally over. So I
Yeah.
remember, I think that summer before eighth grade, mom left him. We were out, me and Chris, we were just like, fine, this is it. We're finally free from all this. And not even talking about the church side, that wasn't going anywhere with my mother, but free from this person that was
Yeah.
a bad human being. Right. And we were
Yeah.
so happy. And 2 months later, all of a sudden, he's moved back in. I've changed. This really, people don't change, man. Okay. I think now we've gotten older. We know people don't change that much.
Yeah, if they do, you can tell it. And it wasn't
Yeah.
like that. You know,
No,
I cannot
it did
imagine.
not take long, but we were getting big and old enough
Yeah.
then. Like a lot of that bullshit wasn't flying anymore. And then it wasn't long. But then, I mean, not even a year. That was it. We bailed and she got out.
I
Probably took
can't
her that
imagine.
long to write a check hot enough to get an apartment.
Yeah. I can't imagine how hard what it would be like to be a woman at that time. And like it would be so it must have been so hard to imagine leaving your husband. You know, it's just I mean, I'm
Well,
not trying to cut her extra
I
slack. She
think
should have
a
left him.
lot
She
of
should have
it,
done it.
I mean, yeah, money and all that. I think a lot, and to me, a lot of it was the religion, the church part of it,
Yeah. Yeah. It
because
was real
they,
frowned upon.
well, it's just the conviction, man, that they had for that. I mean, have you told people what kind of church it was, man? We weren't holding snakes, but it was close.
Yeah, I would think like charismatic, evangelical, foursquare, tongue talking. I mean, I remember at Shekinah Fellowship Church, and I don't know to this day whether this was some bullshit carnival trick or not, but I remember like demon possessed, at least once, like a demon possessed person would like rush the stage while they were preaching.
Right,
And then the ushers would come out, including Ed Woody with his
right.
old bucket. He would come out, and the preacher would come out and pray for him. And I mean, I was like 10. Uh, it was intense. I don't know right now. Like, did they rig that up? Did that person having like a psychotic break? And because they were a Christian and they believed in all this stuff, they think it's demons? Or was it made? I do not know. Or maybe it was
Yeah,
an actual fucking demon. Let's not, maybe it was a
right.
real demon. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was weird being around that because it seems so cosmic. It didn't ever seem real to me. It was just like we're gonna spout all this tongues out and all that, and then somebody's gonna stand up and interpret that and like interpret it from what? From where?
Yeah.
From like to is was it to make your like I said, it's gonna sound like I am a hater on anybody that loves religion, and I'm really not. I just it didn't make sense to me, and I'm not ever going to be able to understand it. I'm never going to believe it. It just it never felt real. Like, okay, I'll give you a little plug because your book, right? Is it?
Oh
I
no.
love I love your book, and I love it. I mean, obviously, because the first half
Yeah.
was our childhood, and everything in it was our. I was there the
Did
whole
you
time.
recognize it? Was I making up shit? Was it real? Do you
Yeah,
recognize it?
it's all real because I was there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so when
Yeah.
you talked about in it, you know, when they used to hit you on the head, that kind of shit, you should fall over because the
Yeah.
spirit's so heavy. And we're like, fall over for, I don't understand for what? For what movie? I never
I'm not
felt
doing that
any
shit. Yeah.
presence or power pushing me down to go higher. You're going to knock me down to get to lift me up. It's not a Chili Pepper song. Like, what are you doing here? You
I
know
mean,
what I
I
mean?
haven't. Yeah, I haven't been. I really think like I haven't been able to believe in any. I've tried several times. I haven't been able to believe in anything since. Having all that like having here's the raptures. The rapture's coming. You know how many times did we do that? You
I
remember
call
that?
this, I call our, where we lived, how we grew up, I call it the rapture, that our parents, the rapture generation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why, and people don't understand that one, we raised ourselves. They're like a lot of Gen X kids did, but there was, I mean, outside of probably what we were going through, they were just kids, you know, with maybe some asshole parents or whatever that you just get outside.
Yeah.
But we lived under the guise that Jesus was coming back any day. Everybody else was going to be burning in hell, and we're going to fly up. And if you don't fly up, then you're a bad person. You know, who tells a kid, you know, every week that you are an evil person if you don't believe this, that if you're not going to get beam me up Scotty to Jesus or whatever. And it's never was believable. I mean, did you ever, I know you didn't believe it either because it didn't
I
make any sense.
I used to try. I tried, because my
We did
folks,
try, and we were because if we didn't, we felt we were wrong
yeah. Oh,
if
they
we didn't
spared us.
believe in the fire and brimstone.
They put a Gitmo, Guantanamo level, Bay level pressure on us.
Yes,
You people would think I'm joking. My
not a
old
joke.
man is an intense guy. You know my old man. He's an intense guy, and
Yeah.
he would bring every amount of psychological bullying pressure to bear on me that he could do. I know he did,
Yes,
and I felt like ever
I was
since, like
there. I
that
know.
if that guy couldn't
Same
break
with
my
us.
spirit, you probably feel the same way. Like I feel like if that shit couldn't break my spirit, nothing else, it don't even register.
Right.
No adult man, other than my dad, has ever registered like pressure or like, ooh, you're gonna get real mad at me. It's a fucking joke. I got a hot off the chopper door gunner get mad at me. It's not 4 years old. You got something next to that? No, you
Right.
don't. It don't matter. But it just,
Right.
I couldn't believe it. I don't know if you remember this. 1988, the rapture was supposed to happen. I think you were
Yes.
already going to Westmore, something like that. They stopped. I was still in the Christian school. They stopped school at noon because the rapture was supposed to happen. They stopped school and we looked at the clock on the wall because the rapture was supposed to happen at noon. And they were telling us this shit. You got adults telling you that, like they want you to believe it. And you ask more than one or two follow-up questions, and they just basically get around to shut up,
Yeah.
believe what you're told. And I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. They can't control what's inside of here. I remember having like yelling this at my
No,
dad.
you can't control an
No,
individual. And I don't care. You can teach, you can nurture, you can raise, but you can't control any human, man. We're born free spirits.
I remember
That's what we are. We're animals. We're free spirits.
one of the I remember like a fight with my dad where not fight. I mean, yeah, no one would raise their voice to my dad if he was upset. You would just get flattened. But I I remember saying to him like I don't care what you say, you can't make me think you're what you want me to think. You can't do it. You
Yeah.
can't do it. You know. And I mean from then on, I mean I can't believe. Flash forward to the future. I mean, I feel like I look at like when I see younger people today, it seems like they fucking believe anything, you know? They get swept up into anything, believe all kind of, believe like whatever the latest politics is, I mean, I just sound like a crunchy old man now.
Well, yeah, it makes, but you're right. And I feel the same way that I don't, we weren't as influenced by that. We went off our own ideals as much as the walls closed in on that. And honestly, for us to escape that shit and what all that did, I mean, there's a shitload of psychological damage that was done. And for us to pull through it, it wasn't easy, that's for sure. But at this point, looking back, like I said, when that finally, like getting into high school cut loose, I mean, but it went from one extreme to you just go, I'm sorry, you do what the hell you want. I'm sorry what
Yeah,
happened, which was worse going the other way. You know what I mean?
yeah.
There was never it never came to a happy. We never sat down and talked about it. My mother didn't do that. That generation didn't do that anyway. I mean, they were pretty good with shoving the rod and the Bible down your throat, but when it came to real life, like, oh shit, we should talk about this. That ain't happening. It's what we
I
had to
tried
figure
at
out
one
our
point.
own, and that's why our friend groups. To me, my friends are my family. I've always, sorry, brother, I love you, but my
Yeah,
friends were ahead of my family.
yeah,
They were. I
yeah,
mean, because without my friends, I wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't have survived it. I'd
yeah,
be dead in prison. Who the fuck knows why? I wouldn't have made it. And I went extreme as it was anyway and still pulled through it. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So I think certain people, you have just born natural ability to, like leaders. You can't make a good leader. You're born that way. That's just,
yeah.
you can sit some asshole through a million corporate classes on how to be the best goddamn leader. That don't mean shit. You're either born with it or you aren't. You can either survive or you can't. And I think we had enough survival man skills in us that we were able to get through it. It wasn't pretty. I
No,
mean, I always say, like, what's life? I mean, life has been 30% a hell of a fucking time, man.
yeah,
70% bullshit. It's been fucked. And a lot of that's
yeah,
on me after a certain age because now it's on my ass. I'm an adult now. But
right.
having all those years of that and the most formative years when you're supposed to be eating healthy and learning and being free and making mistakes and learning from those mistakes. Like I said, I'm all for discipline, but there's an extreme when it goes past that that is damaging. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you can't get that back. I can't get my childhood back. It's gone. It was fucking ruined. I mean, and like I said, it takes me and my brother, like we put stories together because we both blocked out shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it's that survival. You just block it out and you just move the fuck on, keep it a moving. Which is sad because you can't get that back.
Yeah. So there was all that. And then along come Jamie, Jamelin, Leanne
Is
Banks. Mm.
that
Yeah.
blurry?
It's blurry, but oh, there it is. Oh my God. Yeah. Gunman snapped, father says. Yeah. If you send me something, I'll put them up sometime or I'll make another video or something like that. But
Okay.
uh so Jamelin Leanne Banks was a we met her in I think she started going to star in eighth grade,
Yeah, I think
maybe
so. Yeah,
seventh,
she
eighth
was
grade.
younger. She was a year younger. 2 years. She's 2 years younger.
Yeah. And w she was I remember that she was kind of pudgy. And the next year she was not pudgy anymore. And we were just like friends. And she was not pudgy anymore. And I remember talking to her and she said, and she told me, I can't remember exactly what she said, but she told me that she'd been heaving. I can't remember if that was the word she used, but she told me that she'd
Yeah,
been, yeah,
it is the word. Yeah.
yeah. Uh, uh, as a heaver myself, I'm familiar with the word, but we used to do this thing, which I write about in the book of, usually like when I got a license, when I got a license in a car, we'd drive around and you could buy syrup of Ipecac and poison
That's right.
in poison control kits at the time. And we used to
Yeah.
go around to drugstores and shoplift all the syrup of Ipecacs out of the poison control kit, stuff our pockets.
How
You know what I
insane
mean?
is that, man? God, that's so nuts.
And then she would like go in the bathroom and come back out, like that. And
Yeah.
I did not tell anyone. I just stuffed my face from
Well,
like
there's no, I
my
didn't find out about a lot of that till much later myself.
yeah.
I didn't know. But I
And
was already in I was already going to Brink. I was already going to public schools. I was in ninth
yeah.
grade when I met her.
Yeah. And I loved her so much. I had such a vaporized, I could present myself, you know what I mean? I've always been able to be like popular in school and I'd be like funny and stuff. Mm, But like the me inside was just like vaporized. There's nothing. Like I loved her so hard and I could not, my mind could not form the thought that anyone could like me, you know, that a girl could
Which
like me,
is
that I could
weird
be like
because
a
that's
crush.
not how I ever saw you. You know
I
what I
know.
mean? And how strange is that? But everybody's own perception is different
Yeah.
of themselves. I mean, like I'm still a very confident person. I was just born that
Yeah.
way. So to
Girls always
me,
loved you, man. You're vivacious. You got an
well,
enormous vitality. Girls
there's some
always
Bestie
loved you.
X's, probably not as much. They
Yeah.
might be like, yeah, he was fine. It was cool, but yeah, probably not going
Yeah.
to dive that deep. That he
But
was
it
just
was
amazing.
from my end of it, it was a real like it scalded my fucking brain how much I loved her. And then like, but I couldn't even
I
imagine.
never knew. You never even told me.
I know, I couldn't
I
even
had no idea.
imagine because I couldn't conceive of myself as somebody that could ever be like a boyfriend. I was like, I'm not eligible for that.
Right.
Like, it's like not, like, it's like not a thing.
Well, I mean, when
I
you're going to
get
have
the,
time, you got to cut it in between the Christian country and reading the Bible again. When are you
yeah,
going to have time for that shit?
yeah. But I remember like you and her we spent I mean, as much time as conceivably could, and
Yeah.
we were like 14, 15, 16,
You
at the
got your
time. I
license
don't want to,
before I did. So, yeah.
yeah, I don't want to be like, melodramatic because there's always a thing with like the first people you love in life and all that. I mean,
Right.
I understand that. And also she's dead,
Yeah.
and also she died violently and she
Right.
died violently before I could reconcile in any way with her,
Right.
and so it was like I felt such a I would be around the two of you, and my experience with that was of like this longing, like if only like what it could ever be like to be like someone that could have like a girlfriend. And I loved her so hard. And it was just like this scalding humiliation of like, I'd like to be like that. I'd like to be a guy that could have a girlfriend but you know, that's just it hurt. Like it just was like this burning shame
I'm
and
surprised I ever
humiliation.
wanted to be in a relationship growing up around all the bullshit, honestly.
Yeah. And then we remember the car? We were
Yes.
I had his 1979 Buick LeSabre as my first car. I'll tell the story here because why not? Fuck it. I never get to tell you.
Such
You
a
can
good one.
correct me when I'm wrong. You can correct me when I'm wrong. And we softball. Your brother's playing a softball league out in somewhere in the middle of nowhere. And
Norman.
Norman, out in Norman, he's playing in some softball league. We out
Yeah.
there driving around, and we're out some county road, whatever it was. Those county roads that go about 400 miles straight. Stop
Yep.
sign every 2 miles, and I let Jamie drive. She didn't have a license or nothing. And you get behind the wheel. We come up to a stop sign, and there's a pickup truck coming. She didn't know what to do. Well, she hit the gas instead of the brake. I done that. You know, she hit the gas instead of the brake. We jumped out in front of it. Slam! Got smashed.
By the way, that was my first major accident, and I've been in now. I mean, we're talking T-bones too. So
Yeah,
that started the whole trend. I probably why my back is nuts. So I've been in five totals like that.
no
Five
kidding.
massive car accidents. I
Yeah,
was never driving any of them.
no, just always there.
Always just ended up eating the grill.
We got smashed,
It was bad.
and we both looked. I can't remember if I had a mohawk then, or if I was shaving my head or what. But I had on this Christian thrash metal shirt, you know. Uh, and I went, and there was a black dude driving a pickup truck that smashed us, and we got out of
Yeah.
the car, looking probably somewhat like maybe some hoodlums. I'm not sure. And I went over there, and he didn't know like who are these. One of these skinhead looking dudes in the middle of
Right.
nowhere coming over to my truck. And I was just like, hey man, here's the deal about this. She ain't got no license. She ain't got no insurance.
Right. Get her to
You'd
say that
be
I
a
drove.
fucked unless I was driving. So I believe I was driving that car, right, pal? You know? And he kind
Yeah.
of got the message. And that was that. And we made it home. And then
Well, but listen, you're leaving out the good part of this. The good
what's the
part
good
is,
part?
so your car was bent in half. I could
True.
see through the door on the passenger side, the back door where I would sit in the back, to
Yeah.
the ground while we're driving. Okay. And then we dropped. Thank God none of us were hurt. Thank God. Because
I
I
don't
mean,
know how
but that's an old car, man. Those old cars were real steel, dude. You could
I'd still
T-bone
be
one.
sitting in
And
jail.
we're
Yeah.
driving down the highway. The car's bent in half. How we didn't even get pulled over, for
I don't
one thing,
know.
is amazing. And the whole time, man, it was the best thing ever because we dropped Jalen off and we were going back to your house to try to come up with how are you going to explain this. But, and you were beating on the dash and you were like, this son of a bitch is the best car ever. Look at it go. I mean, it was tore in half, man. And it was raised up and driving wonky sideways. And
Yeah.
hell, it drove home. Pretty
Yeah,
impressive.
we made it.
Was it a Buick?
Yeah. Buick
Was it a
LeSabre.
Buick? Oh,
Yeah. A 1979 Buick LeSabre, a proper land yacht, a proper
Yes.
land yacht,
Well, and it saved our ass.
hood about 10 yards long. How about your mother's Nissan Sentra?
Oh,
You remember that?
oh, my brother.
We got your mother
That's
got this Nissan Sentra.
that's about the third. Because he almost killed me in his first car was that Chevette, and he rear-ended somebody about killed me then. But yeah, we took the car. Mom was out of town for like she did work training. That's when she was starting to do well for herself and move up at work. And she was out of town for a work training. And God, she had that car a month, I think, dude. It was
It
brand
was
new.
brand
It had
new.
paper plates. Her first brand new car as an adult, finally making it. We had that house and more. Everything was going all right, and sure enough, because Chris had a car, so
He
we
had a
took
car.
that car. I can't believe she left the keys at home, but we weren't bad kids, so I can see it, and I would imagine she would have thought me before him doing that.
Yeah.
And we took that car, and sure enough, man, going down that Classen intersection back then, you could see
23rd and
all.
Classen.
It was across, right? You could
Yeah.
see every light angle, so
Yeah,
you
it's hard.
can
It's like a
see the
five-way cross.
green, even though it wasn't for your go. But you could still see that light. Terrible
Yeah.
intersection. It's not like that anymore. Probably caused it. And what that cop coming through there on a call hit us at about 100 miles an hour.
Chris
T-bone
jumped out
right
there.
in the middle. Chris was trapped in the vehicle.
He was in the vehicle. He jumped out. The some light turned green. Wasn't ours. and he jumped out there, and there was no. I don't remember hearing screeching. I don't remember nothing. We just
No,
got
there was no that
kaboom.
was in the police report, believe it or not, when because mom had to get it to get everything going and figure all this out. It was in the police report. There was no stop marks
Yeah,
because that
we
lady
just got.
cop was on a call. No lights going though either or siren. She was doing like 100 down class and just nailed this man. Nailed. Thank God we were young and our bodies worked.
I remember your
That happened
brother.
to me
My
now. I'm just
leg, my
oh
leg.
he was trapped in the car. Oh, that cop was so mad, and all the cops showed up. But you know what?
They yanked us
Here's
out of
the
the
twist of
car.
that. You can't get tickets for if that happens because we pay for the cop cars. So Chris, I
Oh,
think he just got like failure to yield or something like that, or running a stoplight. Really,
yeah.
so everything ended up was minimal, but that car was destroyed, and my mother just got the car note. You gotta
Paper plates
pay
on
it.
dealer plates.
You gotta pay it. You
Dealer
know what I mean?
plates.
Yeah, she had insurance, but
You
you're
making a
still
car
making that
payment.
payment. Yeah, that probably didn't help, but
Well, now let's. I remember the next thing happened after that. We both got yanked out. We all three
yeah.
got yanked out and
Yeah,
thrown
we
in the
got
back of
yanked
three different
out.
police
Oh,
cars.
it broke her face. Remember, her nose was
Yeah,
busted, that
she
cop.
was messed up.
She was
And I
pissed.
remember sitting in the back of those police cars, looking at each other. I'm looking over at you, and we're both kind of like laughing. And Chris is
Right.
always like serious, like your
Oh, yeah.
brother's serious, like he's
Very
like in the
dramatic.
hospital and shit.
He's
And he
a
was
very
not looking
dramatic
that
person.
happy. Plus, he was driving all kind of shit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm an innocent bystander here, man. Except, remember, I had a black motorcycle jacket,
Yeah.
and I had this old school blackjack.
You had the blackjack.
I
Yeah.
had the blackjack. This is like for those that don't know. I used to like collecting weird weaponry like that. Hand like as blackjack is like a slug of lead in this thick leather
Another pouch
pouch sewn
with a
shut.
handle.
It was old like cop. It was
Yeah.
old like cop hand to hand thing. You had this
Oh,
thing to
yeah.
smack somebody. And I had that thing in my vest pocket of my motorcycle jacket, and I had a mohawk or shaved head or something. And I thought, what the fuck? I got this blackjack. I don't know if I'm supposed to have it. I don't know. So I just took it out and like shoved it behind the
Under the
seat or something like
seat.
that.
Yeah.
I rem
And to be clear, completely sober, no drugs, no
No,
booze, nothing, sober.
no,
So
that was that.
I
We
don't even
came
know if
out.
I don't even know if I wasn't even smoking then. Like
No,
completely clean. Yeah, we were like punk rockers and skaters and stuff, but totally clean. We were kids. I think we were 15. I think Chris was the only one that had a license. No,
yeah,
right?
probably so.
Or maybe
Yeah,
I had a
probably so.
permit, but I don't think I had a car yet. So it's right in between that summer of going into my sophomore year, right?
Yeah,
Has
and
to be.
then we made it back to your house, carless. I think my dad probably gave us a ride back over there, and that was
Yeah,
like Friday night.
Friday night.
And your mom was going to get home Sunday. And I remember we stayed at your house, footless, now on foot, like the old days,
Yeah,
which meant getting jumped as you walk down 12th Street and more,
right.
invariably, at least for me. I
No, yeah, it
always
was
got jumped.
cruiser week. Oh yeah, skating down that thing. You know how many beer bottles I had flown at me?
Always. You never walk down that street without getting
Yeah.
jumped. Um,
Oh, it was wild.
and we
There was
waited till
no
Sunday.
rules.
We waited till Sunday, and your mother walked in. I'll never forget. Your mother walked in, opened the door. Where's my car? And that was it. Where's my
Well,
car?
what sucks is me and Chris still laugh about it. Because I told him all week, I'm like, listen, man, you're the good kid. Mom's gonna be fine. She's gonna understand. It's cool. And boy, it was way opposite than when I thought she was
Yeah.
gonna. I could, but then I look at it now and I'm like, oh my kid would have been gone. You're in military school. You're out. You get the hell out of my house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna beat some ass on this one. But just sucked it up and moved on. It wasn't something that lingered in the house long, but we were already so out of the house anyway. Who knows? I don't remember
Yeah.
really the
No, it's
aftermath
just one more
of
thing that
it.
happened. I mean, and next,
One more thing that happened, even for her, in a long list of bullshit. It was probably this. She had coping mechanisms of her own that
yeah.
she dealt with. So here, moving on, and she got a car. Probably from the Dobbins or somebody that gave her a car because we were living in there. That was their house we were renting.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, then, we when we had our car crash, I remember like we all took this solemn vow we weren't never going to tell nobody that
right.
Jamie was driving. And then I was in Boston the first year first year I was at college in Boston, and Daddy called me up and said that Jamie had been killed, and I was 18 or I was 19, and I came back home And I don't know.
No, we were older, man. 95, graduated
Yeah, it was 95.
93,
Yeah,
20,
I started. It was what year did you die? 94, 95,
95. We were
95.
20.
So I was a sophomore, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there she was. I didn't really, and someone, she had a, you and her had already gone your separate ways. And she had a boyfriend and she had an ex-boyfriend and she was living with her boyfriend
Yeah, she was.
and her ex crawled in her window, blew her brains out.
No. So
What happened?
I know these kids. So
I know the guy that found her. I remember
yeah,
him.
that was Tim, but the dude that killed her, because it was her boyfriend and then his girlfriend from the diner, his ex. So Jamie was just fought. They were just fodder in this. That's the connection. It
Yeah.
wasn't. So who knows what happened? I'm assuming maybe he was there the night before and something was said. I mean, you do is Jamelin at that time. I mean, she could be like a real snake, man. So I'm not saying
I
that
did
she
not know her in
probably
that way. I did not know her in that
I
way at
didn't,
all.
you know what I mean? It could stir a pot, which is what I'm assuming. And we were also young because he was a year younger than us. But like I said, he'd come down to Norman. I knew his brother. I knew him. I just saw him a few weeks before that, actually. So his ex girlfriend, that's the girl from the diner that he killed when he shot the diner, went in there and shot her. But Jalen and her boyfriend, they were killed the night before. So when they finally got all the forensic stuff, it was like a night before, and then the next day is when he killed his ex and then himself. And so I just think she ended up just being fodder, really part
Just
of
got caught up in it. Yeah.
just pure chance. I mean, who knows if he was obviously at their house hanging out. I knew that she knew him,
Yeah.
so I think it was just happens. It just wrong place, wrong time. We just snapped because he was a cool guy. He was nice. Brother was cool. It's a shame because it was four, families that were completely destroyed by that, including all the friends. I mean, when I got the call, I couldn't believe it. That was a very tough funeral, and I'll give your dad credit on this that her mom said, "Hey, they're doing the viewing. I'd really like you to be there." And I was like, "I can't go on my own. I just can't do it." I didn't even know who to call or talk to even go with me because you weren't even here.
Yeah.
I didn't even wasn't even really talking to Todd and them either anymore. So I was like, so I called your dad, and he actually went with me to the viewing, which was really awesome because that
Yeah.
was not easy to do, and it wasn't easy
No.
to see. And that funeral was very difficult, and it's something that's lasted forever in my life. I mean, God, now we're like 30 years or some shit, right? And that's
Yeah.
something. It doesn't go away. You know what I mean? Because there was a piece of us we were all so close that at that and being that young that we lost, and that started the funeral go. I feel like I've been to over 50 now, and most of them my friends, and that
Yeah.
just like kicked it off. So now it's like you get used to it now. I just expect phone calls and funerals. It's just insane
Yeah.
to say, but now that's normal to me, and that started the whole thing for sure. It took a
That
long
was
time. It took a long time to try to understand it and get through that. Even though we weren't together like that anymore, we were always going to be cosmically together. We were so connected. You know what I mean? Just one of those
yeah.
people that you're like us. Yeah, we didn't
Yeah.
talk for like 15 years. So fucking why? It doesn't matter because we were
Yeah.
so tight and through so much together that you're always together and it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah. The
You know?
trauma bond ain't going nowhere. No.
Right.
I
No, it's
rem
true. And just and the friendship, our bonds of
Yeah.
survival. And like Jalen, she lived that nice lifestyle, but I was she that happy at home? I don't know. I think she was
No, she
just
was not. She was not that happy at home. She's heaving
right.
in the bathroom. She used to put tacks. Her old man, I don't know what her deal was with him. He was diabetic. He couldn't feel his feet. She used to
Yeah.
throw tacks on the floor so he'd
Right.
step on them.
Right. And they were so sweet because I was around them for 2 or 3 years, and they were so nice to me. And I
Yeah.
was at their
Same
house
here.
a lot, and they were nice people. They had
Yeah.
careers. I think she was just a brat.
I can't.
She was different. She was born
Yeah,
just like we were. I was born different. I'm not of the norm. I
yeah,
mean, as soon as I started hearing punk rock in like fifth grade, that was it. It was home. You know what I mean? We were just born
yeah,
different. And she was the same way.
yeah.
It was a
Her
shame.
mother.
She was young. She missed it. I look at it two ways, man. It's a shame that she missed out on so much life, and who knows where she would have gone and what would have
Yeah,
happened, you know. But at the same time, like, I hadn't been that great of a fucking ride. So I see it as two sides, which is when I tell people that, they think I'm fucking nuts because they're like, I mean, they're dead. What do you? I'm like, really? Let me tell you what I don't like doing: fucking working and paying goddamn bills and dealing with bullshit.
yeah,
So that never seems to get any fucking better. So what's the up and what's the down in this scenario? You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I
Broken
remember.
hearts and bad shit and bad decisions. Like, all right, so she didn't have to
Yeah,
deal with a bunch of that shit. And yeah, that's part of life. Like, you're supposed to learn all that. You know, I've learned enough, motherfucker. Right? What I want to learn is a winning lotto ticket, so then I can just not worry about shit. Okay, let me get on that
yeah,
boat for a minute. That would be nice. You know what I mean? I mean, it's
yeah,
funny to say, but it's really true. But I feel bad because it would. I think, that we would have been friends down the line because there's just, dude, the scene here in this city, people are all connected. I still have
yeah,
friends from back then. There's just, it's the same in a way. Everybody still knows each other. So I'm sure we would have crossed paths at one time. And I can't imagine she would have grown up being any different than she was.
yeah.
Art degree
No,
would suck, but I'm
I
assuming
mean
that's
it's a
what's
real. Her her mother did me a huge favor at the funeral. Uh, she she came up and she said, "Jamie told me all about that car. She loved you so much."
she
And I
ratted
couldn't.
stuff out.
I mean, I couldn't feel that. I didn't shed a tear for nobody or nothing for till I was like in my 30s or 40s or
Yeah,
something like that. And
right.
I mean, I ball. I'm fixing to go run in a little bit. I bawl like a baby all the time. Well, it's like something like your body and brain get together and there's no one else
Well, I'm
around.
about to cry thinking about running. I would need a Metaflight.
The But like it closed the circle. I thought, well, there it was. I loved her, you know, and she loved me in some way, and all that happened, and that's it.
It
You know?
changed when that happened. My life changed a
Yeah.
lot. It really did. It
Well,
was a different trajectory, and nothing looked the same after that.
yeah,
And it was just so fucking brutal. I mean, she's laying in the casket, and I'm like, there's a fucking bullet hole in her fucking cheek
with
that's
the
visible.
wax
That's visible.
plug, a wax
I'm like,
plug.
what the fuck, man?
Yeah,
Like, I don't want to see this. I'm glad that I did, for sure. But I'm like, what the fuck happened? This is shit you hear on the news, and we didn't fucking even watch the news that much. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But it was definitely different, and I don't know. It helped me. Like I said, I've been to so many goddamn funerals now. It just seems like that just started a normal pace, which is not fucking normal by any
yeah,
stretch of the means. But it's been so long that now it's like, yeah, I mean, I can't remember that much of her anymore because it's been so long, you know? Like, I remember what her hands look like her hair,
yeah,
but her personality, all that. It's just 30 years. It's just a lot else has happened in our lives, and now it's just somewhere in there, you know?
yeah,
But,
yeah, totally.
I go to her grave every once in a while. I put flowers down in the past, and it sucks as it doesn't seem like her family goes there anymore, even though her dad's right there as well, you know?
Yeah, I talked to her mother once a long time after that, but because I
Yeah.
remembered her
Well, I
phone
heard she
number.
moved out of state. I don't know if that's true or not, but
I
that's,
still remember her phone number. I'm not going to say it. Someone else probably lives there.
yeah, or has it. Oh, who knows now? Because
Yeah.
that's landlines. I don't. I
405 691 3747.
3747. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
there, Jamie. Pick up. I'd love to talk to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have my old like phone book from like sophomore year. I wrote everybody's names in it, and she drew like a picture in there that I still have that. Like I said, her mother had the photo albums full of pictures of all of us together and stuff. But I don't know what. I imagine her sister or somebody has to have 'em. I don't know if her mother's still alive or not. She's getting pretty old as she is
Yeah.
because her
Well,
sister was much older because she was adopted.
the I gotta we gotta start wrapping this up a little bit. And the Zoom thing might kill it in a minute. I'm not sure, but l let me ask you now, like how's it for you now? Life. How you
How's
doing?
life?
Yeah. What's life
It's
for
good.
you?
I love my home. I've been with Kate for a long time, and we have a great relationship together. I will say that moving back to Oklahoma was something that was never in the cards at
Yeah.
all. I mean, it's no secret. Anybody that knows me knows, man, this is not my favorite state or place to
Yeah.
be. But I lived in Nevada and I lived in Hawaii and I lived in Texas. Like, had a lot of adventures. I travel a lot for work. I traveled a lot, for pleasure. And so the more you see away from this, like I was gone 18 years. You've been gone.
Long time.
Holy shit, how long have you been gone now from here?
I mean,
When did
I
you go to
left in
Boston?
the last I lived there. I mean, I went for I left for BU in 94. I was home sporadically a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, you weren't home though. You were just
No.
you. So you've been gone since '94.
Yeah.
That's a long time. And even when you come back to visit, I mean, this place, as much as they can put, it's modernizing and trying to upgrade itself. Growing up here, it's no different to me. It's
No, I like
it's just more fucking traffic.
I like I've always been drawn to like old crunchy neighborhoods. I mean, when I go to Oklahoma City, I drive up and down 29th Street. I go down Pennsylvania Avenue. I know all those parts of town. I know all
Right.
the fun parts and I go
Well, that
there.
was your stomping grounds,
Yeah,
man.
that's our stomping ground. Uh yeah.
But life
Uh,
is good. I mean, it's just I'm honestly now that we are in our 50s. First of all, I never thought I'd fucking live to be this old, which is weird. And
yeah.
at least my body still functions. I don't think I mean, I probably look like shit. I just don't realize it. I don't know. I
No,
think
you look
we've
really
done all
beautiful.
right. Our generation, we aged well, but it's probably we're the first ones that really eat all that processed shit. So it might have something to do with it. I don't know, but I'm ready. I just want to get to retirement, man, and just be done. But it's such a crazy fuck. I mean, I had a wild fucking life. I mean, honestly, like you get married, having kids, I was like balls of the fucking walls, through shit. I still like to go out and have a good fucking time. I have a lot of friends that don't have kids, man. I didn't have kids. Like
Yeah.
I could do whatever the fuck I wanted. I worked my ass off, but also played hard. So it's nice to like be at home a lot. I like to come home. Like we have a beautiful yard and I just want to chill, be left the fuck alone. Music is key, man. I still love music so much. So being able to like listen to music, I watch football, just try to smile and laugh, you know what I mean? Because at this point, work doesn't mean shit. Nobody gives a fuck what you do for work. 99.9% of humans would not give two fucks what you did at your job when you die. They don't fucking care. It doesn't mean
No.
anything. It
No.
really fucking doesn't. And that was just thank God Gen X. I think we're starting to realize, oh, all right, this is enough. We should have been able to fucking retire at 55 and fuck you for
Yeah.
making us work till we're 75 now and kiss our ass.
Well,
But I mean, other than that, I mean, life's. I mean, it's good. It is. I don't know.
yeah.
Every day is different, you know.
Yeah.
So you just get through your day and get through. Like trauma was such a part of our childhood that that's just normal. Like people probably think I need a massive amount of therapy. I might. I don't fucking know, but I've always had large friend groups, so
Yeah.
that's been my therapy
Yeah.
my whole life. Like, and I think therapy is good for people. I really do. But I've always been like, I mean, I can post up next to Joe Blow in a fucking bar for 4 hours and let this son of a bitch have it, and he's gonna walk out of there wishing he'd never sat down next to me. Not even
Yeah.
realize that he just turned into my therapy session, a stranger.
Yeah, I do know.
And
Yeah.
all my friends, you know what I mean? I'm very open. You've always been very open. Like, and I'm very proud of you for doing this because this takes balls, man. You know what I mean? My parents are gone. Like, I wouldn't know. Like I can't imagine they haven't seen your podcasts and your videos. They don't watch them.
I don't know if they have or not. I mean, I have gone to them more than one occasion as an adult and tried to talk with them as an adult, and they
Yeah.
are not interested. They do
Mm.
not want to hear anything from me that is not what they want to hear because I was never me. I was a little puppet.
Doesn't that seem
That's what they
strange
wanted.
when they're getting near the end that you'd think they'd want some resolution and like to hear the side come? They can't be that stupid that they didn't know what was happening. It's not possible.
They're not
Maybe
interested.
it is. It's just I wonder what my mom would think too, because she went to therapy for quite a while, and she said it really helped her, and we were close. We were very open. I mean,
Yeah.
about everything. So I could have talked to her about. I mean, I don't. I'm sure I have told her before. What you fucked my childhood up, and she knew she did.
I had a conversation like what's happened to me, particularly with my mother, is you've seen her when she's upset. She'll bite anyone's head off. I mean,
Yeah,
things I love about my mother, fearless,
yeah.
fearless,
She's a fearless person,
vivacious, vitality. She's smart as a
but
whip.
fearless through what? Fearless through religion is how I see it.
Eh, She doesn't. She'll bite you in the neck till you're dead if you do something she don't like. It don't matter who you are.
Yeah,
There's no warnings. There's no nothing. And
right.
I've gone to her and said this, that, and the other thing wasn't right about
I call
fairly
that
serious things.
bipolar.
Yeah, I mean, I figured that she has borderline or something like that. I don't know because if she anytime I did something she didn't like, she would just turn to ice. I mean,
Yeah.
this wasn't anything that you ever would have seen, but she would just turn to ice, and I was nothing until she felt like it, and it
Well,
looked to me like she had a
no, I
PTSD
mean,
split.
we did see that stuff, but it
Yeah,
just wasn't going to be full blown until your friends are gone.
so as an adult, I mean, in the real
Really?
recent past, I've gone to her and said this, that, and the other thing wasn't right, and she starts biting my head off, and I said, "Oh, I'm an adult. If you were a man, you wouldn't be standing there talking to me like that. I'll tell you
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in that. It wasn't right." And I said, if you're going to bite my head off, I'm not coming back. I can say this to her. I find it extraordinarily painful to try to go to your mother and like be open about something and get,
Oh, hell yes.
and she's fearsome.
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm out. I'm not doing this. And
Yeah.
I told her that she started talking in tongues. She dissociated. I remember you being very happy, and then she started talking in tongues.
Yeah.
And she's looking at me
What?
like, first of all, you're dissociating, and second of all, this just makes me feel utterly invisible. I don't exist because I say something you don't like, and you check out. You're my mother. Thank you. Now I understand a lot more about how my relations with people are difficult.
Right.
And that's
Right.
what I learned from you. If I say anything you don't like, far side of the fucking moon. So
Yeah. That
I ain't
is,
going back for anymore. I've had
is it
enough of
just
that well.
not wanting to just have a conversation about reality at the moment?
Jesus
Or,
told them how it is, and that's that. They've lived in this little world.
and
They
that's,
lived in this little
I will
world.
say, and that my mother, as she got older, it wasn't like that as much anymore. And I think she just kind of realized that there's life is life. Like, how can you
Yeah.
not work and be around other humans that are completely not like that and not
Yeah.
pick up something? You know what I mean? It's
Well,
not
that my folks don't. Their world has got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller because they can't tolerate anything that doesn't believe exactly how they do.
Yeah.
So for the
So
last like,
wild to be like that so many years later.
yeah, yeah. So it's very. I mean, I love them. I talked them into moving up to Vermont.
Yeah.
I love them, and also it's just like, yeah, but they love me because I was a puppet because I learned how to keep them happy because you will understand what I mean when I say this. The only thing that mattered in my fucking life was keeping them in a good mood.
Right.
That's all.
Right.
That's it.
And that meant fucking being seen and not
Yeah.
heard a lot.
Being being my dad's therapist, which he would never have, I was his therapist. He wanted to tell me, I mean, the first things I remember him telling me were gruesome stories from Vietnam.
Right.
You know, he had something he wanted to talk about. I had to sit there and listen to it until he was done talking.
And it's stuff that he shouldn't have been talking to you about
No,
at all.
I do not need to have one of my earliest memories being a story about a woman looking up from a rice paddy with an AK-47 and opening fire on the chopper he was in, and him, like his job was to protect him guys in that chopper. That's his job. That's it. They got
Yeah.
one guy to protect him. That's him. And if a woman don't want to get blown up in a rice paddy, she shouldn't raise up an AK-47 to the Huey.
Right.
And that was that. But he's telling me that when I'm 5 years old. It's on his mind. I get it. He needed stuff, but at some point, I spent my whole life, no, I spent decades of my life telling myself like that, ex making excuses for him, and the only thing that's let me like move forward in my life is stop is like, no, it's not my job. I do not have to make excuses for them. I use the word harm now. I
Yeah.
instead of abuse, because abuse is like it, it's hard for me to get it out of my mouth because I love them. Harm, okay, they caused me an inordinate amount of harm.
Yeah.
Okay, harm was caused. All right, put it past that lets me say, okay, my, every girlfriend I've ever had ends in betrayal because I see it. Because I learned from my mother that as soon as you don't do something's right, the person who loves you turns on you and throws you out in the outer darkness. So every girlfriend I've had since then, as soon as something happens I don't like, I feel like I'm getting like they're doing that to me. Like they
Right.
betrayed me. That's just like
Which
how it feels.
sucks because it's not, that's your defense mechanism because
Yeah.
that's how it's how you were harmed. It's how you were
Yeah.
abused. And it's weird
Yeah.
to say because, I knew your parents and we're so close with them, but I also knew what their path was as well. But
Yeah.
you think about it now, that's what I'm like, let some of that shit go. Just, you know what, you can have that all you want, but how about if you're with your child, let some of that shit go for a minute, okay? That's your world. It's not Ben's world.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been for a very long time.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of time to be able to skirt around that and just, be just have a normal fucking conversation for a minute that doesn't involve doom and gloom and the fucking rapture, for Christ's sake. Still waiting.
Yeah.
Still waiting.
Yeah. I would get on my knees and kiss the ground if the rapture happened and I was the only one left on me, like me and my
I
kids,
might.
and you were the only one left.
The ones that make me
Please.
insane are gone.
Yeah. What do I have to do to make sure that fucker doesn't call me up? The last thing I want to do is be for the eternity of this
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah,
God
with
damn.
these people?
Well, I'll tell you, I got to wrap this up and get out, but
Okay.
if someone asked me like, what's your heaven, Johnson? Like, give me a heaven, a day in heaven nostalgia style. I was thinking about this the other day. I would say make it be a summer day in Oklahoma City and let Chad and Chris come over and we're outside and we spend all day long with about 20 bucks in our pocket going up and down drainage ditches, dodging them Mexican kids, looking
Yeah.
for more porn magazines by that the pedophile left under the fucking mattress in the woods. You remember that?
And the
Yeah.
trampoline.
Yeah, under the
Don't forget the
trampoline in the
trampoline.
woods. Yeah, jumping on the trampoline, and then we're gonna walk down and load our pockets with gummy bears and slushies at 7-Eleven, and then walk down to Almonte Cinema and watch a
Right.
double feature. We're gonna go watch Top Gun and Iron Eagle, which is a double feature I know that you and me went to see when I was a
We
kid
did. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I remember it.
Yeah, we did.
And
Saw a lot of
we're gonna
movies
spend
there.
all day. We're gonna dodge Mexicans and then check the pedophile stash in the woods and see if he left anything new for us. And maybe
I don't know if I would call it the pedophile stash. It's
well,
porn.
just the
It's
porn
not
stash,
kids.
whatever it was. I just figured there's someone waiting in the woods. Like I know there's gonna be some kids looking at
No,
this.
it's high school kids. That's where
Right. Is it gonna
they
be like
always
Return
put
of the
the porn
Jedi, like a
stash.
net? It's gonna
Hey,
scoop
man,
us up.
that was a nice stash. That was a big one. It went under the house. I was telling my lady about that. We hid it under the house. It was there for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was life.
Well,
It was our survival. Like I said, and my brother, how he sees it, some of it differently than I do. So it's
yeah.
interesting when he talks about it because and his road path was not as rough as mine. I don't know why, it just was. But yeah, you have to next time you're in town visiting stuff, then we'll get together, and so you can hear some of his side of it because it's really different
Yeah.
in some
Yeah.
aspects. Some of it, man, is not. It's the same, but you just had a
Well,
different outlook.
something let me and
And he
I
was
keep
more
saying
of
this.
a quiet kid anyway.
Yeah, yeah, and he busted his ass to get Ed to like him. He worked real hard and your brother's like responsible in a way that we
I am not for sure.
I'm not.
But you know what?
Uh
Listen, his 20s, man, early 30s, I was the good kid. That little, he was no saint
yeah. Yeah.
on making good decisions.
Yeah. Well, I we could talk forever. Maybe we'll do it again, but man, thanks a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm an only child. You're my brother. I love you, you know. Um mm, and think about your brother. Last thing for Warzone kids, it's a good example. You can't draw a line between the plot events of what happened and what effects it's going to have on you.
Right.
You can't.
You
There's
don't
all
know.
kind. I'm desensitized to all kinds of not really violence. I don't have violence in my house, but I know what an angry man is like.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I'm utterly desensitized to that could
Right.
happen to me that wouldn't mean nothing. I
Yeah.
wouldn't
You
even
should.
notice it. Wouldn't even register. And it might fuck someone else up for days. And I'm not saying that's because they're like weak and they shouldn't have been. It's a different person, different
Yeah.
cycle. And there's stuff that could happen to me right now that would fuck me up 7 ways from Sunday or give me a lot to deal with. You know what I mean? Like I'd have to deal with it a lot, but that wouldn't bother someone else. So it just doesn't, whatever your life is like right now, I'm not talking to you, Chad, like trying to lecture you, but this is just me talking. Like whatever your life is like right now, that's what it's like right now. You got to deal with it.
Right.
Um,
Well, and some of
Thank
it, man,
you.
I've been saying for a long time, I'm like, some of you just time, you just gotta fucking move on. Keep it moving. I say it all the time, like, just keep it a fucking moving. I mean, fuck it. What happened happened already. So it's part of the puzzle piece, but it's not controlling the board. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just it's nice that to me that we've gotten to this age now where I mean that's a long time ago now. Holy shit, you know?
Yeah.
So and as even as a coping mechanism, probably getting older and growing up, of I just keep it a fucking moving, man. Fuck it, I'm not worrying about it. Just not.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let shit drag me the fuck down. And go fuck yourself. There's enough shit in the world going on. I don't need any extra BS happening. There's enough crap that's shoved down our throats. So,
That's a good,
and we survived it though. We're also survivors in a way, and that's why I was curious about if your parents had seen this stuff. Like I said, it takes fucking balls to because you have a lot of these casts now, and you go into some really heavy stuff, and that takes a lot of fucking balls to do that. It's not easy, especially as we're Gen X, we're men. You know what I mean? We were
yeah.
still raised as this is what men do and what men are supposed to be, and had a lot of that old generation still ingrained in us, even though it's supposed to be more of a loving side. I don't know. I mean, was there really?
Mm,
I mean, our parents' childhoods were fucking awful, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
So I don't know what we were supposed to expect. I mean, what would it have been like if, I mean, the religion never got involved? What if they were just working class, angry people? It would have been something else, in my opinion. If it wasn't going to be that, it would have been something else.
Yeah.
In my opinion, because I think people that are drawn into that so deep, it's like going to the beach, man. I lived in Hawaii for a few years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a proven fact. You can be on the most secluded part of the beach, a place that you only know. If some tourists show up, they're going to be 10 feet from you. Doesn't matter if you have a whole fucking beach because most of them cannot get out of that. You know what I mean? Like I said, I
Yeah.
think you're just born, to me, you're born that way. You can be born to be ruling your own roost on your own, or you have to be sheep, like people that you work with. You know what I mean? We've all seen bits and pieces of it, how it is. And that's
Yeah.
how I look at it. I'm just like, so I don't want any of that shit to worry about me. I think I just went on a ramble, but
That's all right.
as a whole circle, you know what I mean? And it takes balls of what you're doing and to talk to people and the people you had on your show, which is amazing because you're pouring out some deep shit that nobody fucking knows that, most people, we're not supposed to have that shit pour out of us. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? And I think and it helps that the career field you had and what you've done in your life. I mean,
yeah.
because you've busted through any wall of being able to talk to anybody because that was your job. Of
Yeah.
I can talk to 5,000 fucking people. I don't give a fuck and tell it how it is, which is cool because a lot of people can't do that. Where I've always just been open with all my friends are my family, my friends are my therapist. I'm an open goddamn book, just about everything in my life because what I don't whatever it doesn't matter. If some stranger asked me a random question about my life and I told them like gives a fuck. What if I don't ever see you again? Who gives a shit? It doesn't
Yeah.
matter, you know what I mean? And what if there's some wisdom in some of that? And I mean, wisdom comes from bad shit happening too in our lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
It shaped us to who we are. I can tell you that. Am I angry and pissed a lot? Fuck yeah. But how am I not supposed to be? I was robbed of a lot of things that I can't get back. And some of it's my fault. I mean, I am no saint and I'm no fucking angel by any means. I've made a lot of bad decisions and bad
yeah.
mistakes, but it's just part of the fucking journey. But now I'm getting old enough, at least I'm like, nah, I just want to sit at home. That's cool, you know?
Well, that's a good place to end because we're short on time here.
Gotcha.
So let me
Hey,
say thanks a lot, man.
hey,
It's a good day on the on the trail to the Western Lands.
It is.
Thanks for walking and talking with me, my man. I love you, Chad.
Yeah, I love you too,
And
man.
it's been a good life. I'm glad to have you in it. And man, I love you, man.
Yep, I love you too. Yeah, we'll do it again, man. We got hours of stories. So whenever you want to
Yeah,
chat,
that's right. And it's good to think about Jamie Lindley and
yep,
Banks. And yeah, well, as long as we ain't forgot her, she's still here. And
it's
whatever we can
true.
remember, that's what it is.
Every time you hear a Cure song, man,
Yeah,
think of her.
pictures of you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
and
man. Well, I love you. You take
I
care,
love
man.
you,
Good
dude.
luck on your run. I will not be doing that today.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. Love you.
Love you.
Bye.